The Crew 2, Ivory Tower's to-do list. Yes, welcome back to the channel, fellas. Welcome back to the channel, fellas. Some more discussions on Ivory Tower's up-and-coming open-world epic, the sequel to the much acclaimed The Crew. The Crew 2. Now, it's common knowledge that I was a huge fan of the first game, done various videos on it, challenges, head-to-head showdowns, covered DLC launches, etc. But here's the thing, as much as I love the game, as much as I've got huge respect for the amount of work Ivory Tower done in order to turn the game around from what was quite a rocky initial reception, there were certain parts of the game, certain areas, certain opportunities for improvement, certain things that were just never fixed, certain things that bugged me a little bit. And the purpose of this video is to talk about the things that I think Ivory Tower need to address going forward into the Crew 2 to ensure that the game launches off to the best possible start, media-wise, PR-wise, to avoid it having to chase its own tail and play catch-up like the first game did, and much like some other games have as well. Now, from what I've seen online, from what I've seen across social media, from what I've seen across different forums, one of the biggest bugbearers, one of the biggest annoyances for people who left the game early or people that actually played the game throughout its various upgrades, its various patches, its various development and progressional leaps, was to do with the actual customization in the Crew 1. So to be clear, the actual game itself allowed you to customize 9 different parts of your car. Those parts included rear bumpers, skirts, front bumper, rims, spoiler, hood, interior trim, rear fender and front fender. Now the problem that I had with this system was that there were too many parts that were actually welded together. I'll explain what I mean. If you take the front bumper as an example, if I wrote all of these interchangeable parts down on a piece of paper and handed it over to you, you'll be forgiven for thinking that there are certain parts missing, such as the headlights, such as the front grille, such as the front splitter. The thing is that those parts are actually changeable. Unfortunately, they're only changeable when you actually change the front bumper. So for example, if you want to change your lights and you want to change your grille and you want to change your front splitter, you've got to change the whole front bumper that contains those elements. You can't change those parts individually. And the same applies with the rear bumper. The rear lights, the exhaust system and the rear splitter are all welded into one part. So you might end up in a situation where you like the bumper but you don't like the lights, but you're going to have to change the bumper to get new lights. You change it to the second selection, you like the lights but you don't like the shape of the bumper. Do you see what I'm saying? It isn't a good way of going through customization. The whole reason why customization is there in the first place is to promote individuality, to allow you to put your own personality, your own stylistic stamp on the car upon which you're building. The more changeable parts, the more opportunity there is to hone your creation even further. Having different parts that should be individual all packaged together in specific bundles is not good. It's not a good way of doing things, and it kills the creativity opportunities. Going forward, to address this, what I want Ivory Tower to do is I want clear part separation. I want the headlights to be interchangeable by themselves, independent of the front bumper. I want the rear exhaust to be changeable by itself, independent of the rear bumper. The same applies to the grille, the splitters, the diffusers, etc. Now, unlike its chief rival Need for Speed Payback, the Crew does allow you to have some sort of customization on your interior, albeit extremely small in what's being offered. Basically, you have the opportunity to change the decor, change the color, and change the materials upon which your upholstery is made out of, your car seats, your dashboard, etc. Now, to be fair, there were so many different colors, so many different stitching styles that are available. It was really cool. But what I want you to do this time, Ivory Tower, if you... Excuse me, Ivory Tower, are you listening? I hope you're paying attention. What I want you to do in the Crew 2, please, if it's possible, I want interior part swapping. I want to be able to take out the traditional BMW steering wheel and replace it with a Sparko steering wheel. I mean, this game is based on the Festival of Motorsport, right? Exactly. So allow me to customize my car accordingly, please. I want to be able to take out the stock seats and replace them with bucket racing seats. I want to change the gear stick. I want, in fact, you know what? I want all-round seat removal. I want to be able to take out my passenger seat and replace it with a huge NOS tank, please. I okay, I know, I understand, this is fantasy, but to some sort of degree, I really want Ivory Tower to take the basis, take the platform that they had for interior customization in the Crew 1 and just turn things up a notch. I mean, you're expanding on the map, making it more in depth, you're expanding on the car list, you're expanding on the range of vehicles, you might as well expand on the customization as well, lads. Right, now this one's for all of you graphical designers out there. In fact, not just graphical designers, but all of you artists, all of you creative types, those of you who can actually draw, those of you who can decorate and rebuild the Mona Lisa with nothing but a straw and a feather and a bit of ink. We need a proper wrap editor. Ivory Tower, if you're watching this, if you're listening to me, if you pay any attention to myself or anyone else who leaves comments on this video, we need a wrap editor. We need to be able to create and design our own wraps. In the Crew 1, all we had was a sticker-based system. We had the opportunity to go and put a sticker on the car. So that sticker might end up being a pretty vinyl of some sort, or it might end up just being like a racing number on the side of the car. The problem is though, was there was no creativity allowed whatsoever. The stickers were obviously pre-designed, and to be quite honest with you, most of them were pretty terrible, let's be honest. And ridiculously expensive as well. There's a reason why some of the showcase guys, some of the actual wrap design specialists only focus on certain games. It's because it's a feature that's missing from the Crew, guys. So please, this time round this year in the Crew 2, can we have it? And if we can't have it at launch, then please can we have it later on down the line as part of it? Do you know what? No, let's have it at launch. We want this game to start off on good setting. We don't want IGN, we don't want GameSpot and all the other hooligans out there to have any excuse or any reason whatsoever to knock this game. So please sort it out. Thank you. And then to finish things off in relation to customization, there are a couple of things that I would like to see. I would like to see Ivory Tower customize their own parts. I mean, obviously would like to see proper aftermarket brands jump in like Liberty Walk, Varys, Ben Sopra, Rocket Bunny, etc. But if that's not the case, I would like to see different types of wide body kits put together by the team themselves. I'd also like us to be able to lower our cars and also alter the track width and camber settings for obvious stance purposes. Right then, physics. Physics. The Crew and its notorious physics. This is an area of the game which, whenever you ask people what is it you don't like about the Crew, most people, that is the first thing that they like to hammer. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be totally transparent and honest here. The Crew's physics were not that good when the game initially launched, okay? Yes, I'm a fan of the game. Yes, I love the game. I absolutely love the community, especially the Facebook community. Shouts out to the Crew social Facebook community, yo. Gang, 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 gang in the building. But I got to be honest, the actual physics weren't great. However, they did get better over time. With various improvements, with various patches, with various bug fixes, all of that scheduled downtime in the form of maintenance, Ivory Tower did put it to good use. And eventually, over time, the game got better. The handling got better. But having said that, there are still some issues. For example, some of the cars just feel a little bit too loose. They feel too floaty when going around corners. I want to see more grip added to the cars. I want the cars to feel less floaty. I don't want them to feel like polystyrene blocks with tyres. I want them to have a real sense of weight. Another issue in relation to physics is just the unrealistic crashes. I've seen all sorts of crazy things in the Crew. I've seen cars do 6 somersaults and cars bounce across water and all sorts of... It's just not great. You know, you get to situations where you see cars just floating in the air because the game is glitched, and altogether, presentation-wise, it just doesn't look good. It's funny when it happens, to be honest, but I want to see realistic collisions going forward. Also, what I want to see is I want to see body parts falling off the car. Now, this is a feature that I don't really see nowadays in most games. We do get moderate damage, we get dents, we get creases, we get smashed windscreens, etc. But it's not since games like Need for Speed Undercover and Juiced where I've actually seen proper panels falling off cars and things like that. And I think that just again adds more weight to the question of realism. Obviously, this is an open arcade racing adventure game. You don't want it to be that realistic, but when you play these types of games, you do expect to have more collisions with the open world environment than you would in, say, a Gran Turismo, a Forza Motorsport or a Project Cars. And for that reason, I would like to see body paneling falling off. I'd like to see the rear bumper hanging off, bobbling up and down, and then eventually falling off as you're drifting around a corner. I would like to see the tail lights getting completely wiped out, the headlights getting completely wiped out, etc. The whole exhaust system just completely cracking, splitting, and then separating itself from the car because of the amount of jumps you've flown over. I mean, personally, I think that would be pretty cool. Car list diversity. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, mind, so you're more than welcome to disagree, but in my opinion, when I look at a car list, the thing that tells me whether or not this is a good or bad car list, and by this applies to any game, is not by the sheer amount of cars, it's by the diversity of the car list in question. Have we got an equal enough spread to keep people from all forms of taste happy? The Crew 1 had roughly around 60 cars, if I'm not mistaken. I counted 30 cars from America, 24 cars from Europe, and only 7 from Asia. Now, if you're watching this video, you're obviously a fan of car games, so I do not need to tell you, I do not need to emphasize just how important and just how loved the Asian car scene is. But what these numbers prove is that the car list in the Crew 1 was just lacking in equal diversity. There was a huge favoritism towards American and European cars, and when it came to Asian cars, we were down to the bare bones. We were scraping the barrel, looking for pennies on the floor. This time round, in the Crew 2, what I would like to see is an emphasis put on improving and increasing the amount of Asian car offerings we have available. The noticeable absentees from the first car list in the Crew 1 were Toyota, Mitsubishi, Honda, Acura, Lexus, some legendary and iconic names there with some fantastic cars between them. I would like to see at least 2 or 3 of those manufacturers incorporated into the Crew 2, and not only that, but I'd like to see more variants of other cars. So for example, the Nissan Skyline, we had the R34 in the Crew 1. I'd like to see the R34, the R33, the R32 if possible. Primarily because if you look at the first game, we had at least, what, 6 or 7 different versions of the Chevrolet C-Series, but we only had a Skyline R34. Hopefully this time round in the Crew 2, in the second offering of the game, the sequel, we can have a more expansive portion of Asian cars incorporated into the game. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Many people will be happy. Now, to tie up some loose ends, I just want to talk about 1 or 2 extra miscellaneous things that I feel that they need to address going into the Crew 2. First and foremost, I want private lobbies. If I'm not mistaken, in the Crew 1, you do not have the opportunity to actually create a private lobby for just you and your friends to drive around in. Now, the Crew 2 is actually the biggest opportunity for trollism known to man. There are going, listen, I know that there are a portion of you Kojaks watching this video who are going to try and fly your bloody plane into the back of my Volkswagen. Don't do it, leave me alone, let me play in peace, please, honestly. No, but seriously, honestly, I can see this game being absolute bedlam for trolls. Please allow us to make our own lobbies, Ivory Tower. It's very, very important that you enable this feature in the Crew 2. It's important, it's fundamental. And finally, please make there be a way that we can play a portion of the game offline. It's very, very important that you do that so that you don't alienate your fan base, and most importantly, so that we're not left without a game to play during downtime and maintenance time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that situation. Obviously, I expect there to be an embargo placed in certain aspects, but if I'm like going through the whole motorsports career mode by myself in a single player vein, I would like to be able to continue doing that in a sort of offline mode so that you guys can go out there, do all the maintenance, do all the background work, do all the bug fixes, but not disturb my gameplay. So if you could do that, I'll be much obliged, and I'll buy you a pint, half a pint, because I haven't got that much money, and we'll use your credit card as well. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We come towards the end of another Crew 2 discussional topic. As always, the most important thing to me is your opinions. What do you think of the opinions I laid out here? Do you think this is a good to-do list for Ivory Tower going into the Crew 2? As I said earlier on, the most important thing is that they start off on a positive note. They start off with as much positive press as possible, because what we don't want is for you guys, and by you guys I'm talking about you Ivory Tower, to have to work in damage limitation mode, because unfortunately, as I've said many times, you only get one chance to make a first impression. Make it count, guys, make it count. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a Bourne, welcome. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more Crew 2 content, and also swing the damn hell out of the notification bell so you know exactly when my videos pop up. And I'll see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy. Peace.